Okay, for the ascending order worksheet for today, we're gonna, on the top part, you fill in the blank with less than, greater than, or equal to make each sentence true. So remember, the alligator eats the larger side. That's how I always remembered it. So you want to have your sign open towards the bigger number. So the first thing we have to do is turn each of these fractions into a decimal. So 2/3, or 2 divided by 3, is point. Let me see. So 0.66, or 67 really. And then 5 divided by 8. 5 divided by 8 is 0.625. Okay, so when we go to compare these numbers, we want to look at each number before and after the decimal. So these were technically 0 point, so that first number is the same. Okay, they're both zeros, so we're going to have to go to the next number after the decimal. So we have 6 and 6. Again, they're the same, so right now they're equal. So now we have to go to the next number over, and we have 6 and 2. So which of those is the bigger number is what you need to ask yourself. Okay, so the bigger number in this case is 6, not 2. So we would say this one is bigger, so I'm going to write the alligator mouth open towards 2/3. Same thing on this one. Go through and look. They both start with 0, so move on. Next one is both 0. Okay, keep going. 6, 0. Which one is bigger? And for negatives, like on number 5, I'm kind of skipping around, but on number 5, just remember, with negative numbers, the larger the number is, it's actually smaller, because if we were looking at a number line and we had 0, -1, -2, -3. So if I was going to label these numbers on the number line, -2.5 would be here, and -2.75 would be a little bit further, closer to -3. So what that means is the farther away from 0, or the farther away from positive numbers, the smaller it actually is. So when you compare numbers, if they're both negative, like in this case, you're going to pick the bigger digit. So 2.75 is a larger digit than 2.5. Since they're negative, this is actually smaller. I know that's super weird. If it helps you, draw a number line. Sometimes that helps. The farther to the left it is, the smaller it actually is. So in this case, -2.5 is actually bigger. On number 4, same thing, we want to turn these into decimals. So 2/5 would just be 2 divided by 5. For the percent, you can either put your imaginary decimal at the end of the number and move 2 spaces to the left, or an easier way, since you guys get calculators this year, is just to say 40 divided by 100. 40 divided by 100, and that's going to give you 0.4. And 2 divided by 5 is 0.4. So some of these are going to be equal to each other. On number 7, you got the scientific notation. So you're going to have to work this part out to see what it is compared to this. So remember from the other day, 1.5. And we have to look at the exponent to decide which way we're moving our decimal. In this case, it's positive. It's a +6. So I'm taking the decimal I have, and I'm moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we can fill in with zeros. So, and then compare numbers, see if that's the same, smaller, bigger. And just for practice, -5. So I'm going to take 4.6. Since it's negative, I'm moving to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down here, write the numbers in order from least to greatest, so ascending order. Remember, that's saying the same thing as saying small to large. So I'm going to look at one that has negative numbers just because those seem to be more difficult. I'm going to look at number 13. But the first thing you want to do with every single one of these is put them in decimal form. So if they're fractions, you just divide them. So on number 13, we have negative 2.1. So that's already a decimal. I'm good. 0.5. Again, I'm already good. Negative 0.5. Good to go. And then I have 5 over 100. So I'm going to divide 5 divided by 100, and I get 0.05. One way that you can do this is if you have a piece of paper, or however, if you can see it in your head, I would write them all down vertically, like up and down. So negative 2.1, 0.5, negative 0.5, and 0.05. Fill in zeros wherever you need to, and then go through and check off those numbers like we did up at the top. So first of all, if I'm going least to greatest, I need to start with any negatives I have. So I have negative 2.1 and negative 0.5. So with the negative rules, the farther away it is from 0, the smaller it is. Okay, the farther away it is from positive numbers, the smaller it is. So negative 2.1 would actually be my smallest number. Okay. So then I only have one more negative left, so that's automatically going to be the second smallest. And then now I've got 2 positives left. So they both started with 0. So I'm going to move on to the next digit. 5 and 0. So which one of those is the smaller of the 2? 0.05. On number 15, you have 4 squared, so you want to solve that. 4 times 4. Negative 5 over 2, so negative 5 divided by 2. And on 2 1/3, in the calculator, you just have to type in 1 divided by 3 to get your decimal, and then put it all together to figure out that number. So all together, it would be negative 2.3. And on the back, put the following numbers on the number lines given. So on your Schoology, it'll be like a scroll bar. You can kind of move your things around. But a lot of these are really easy. Remember, sometimes it's hard to tell, but these are just counting by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So if something is 0.5, it's going to fall in the middle. If you have a percentage, just take that number and divide it by 100 to get a decimal. You have 2 squared, 3 divided by 2. And yep, same thing here. Just take the decimal of whatever that is. 3 divided by 7, 5 divided by 9, and then just attach it to the whole number. So it'll be 1 point something and negative 4 point something. So I think that's it. Like I said, if you're halfway between 2 numbers, that would be 0.5. If you're closer to the smaller number, that'll be like 0.25. If you're closer to the bigger number, 0.75.